Welcome to the MMB radio podcast, where no topic is too big or too small. We talk about them all. Now here is your host, Masta.
What's going on? It's your boy Masta here live from the MMB radio studios for the MMB radio podcast, where no topic is too big or too small. We talk about them all. And we're heading into our wrestling fans' favorite week of the year, WrestleMania week. And on the episode today, I have a woman that's going to be doing a lot of things in Vegas. So we're going to talk about all the deets on that and what got coming up in Vegas. I want to welcome here right now the emo queen, Miss Brooke Havok. Brooke, how are you?
Good. How are you? What is up?
Doing well. Thanks for taking time out of your hectic schedule. And we know coming up on WrestleMania week, there's so many things going on in Vegas, and we're going to talk about all the details of that because we want to know where all the fans want to know where you're going to be, where they can see you, where they can watch and come out and support you. But this is the first time I've had the opportunity to talk to you. I've never had the opportunity to meet you, but I know a lot about you from, watching your work and everything. But for the fans out there who are still kind of getting new to you, it's a little introduction. Let everybody know how long it has been since you've been a professional wrestler.
All right. So I actually started my journey at the Nightmare Factory training under Cody Rhodes in QT Marshall. That was back in 2021, and I've been wrestling ever since. I did have two knee surgeries that took me out about 2 years. But yeah, ever since then, I've been going nonstop, wrestling every weekend, wrestling all across the US. I wrestled in Canada, Japan, spent 3 months out there. So pretty much anywhere I can go, I'm wrestling there.
Now, did you grow up a huge wrestling fan? Did you always kind of like say, you know what, I want to be a pro wrestler? Or how did you fall into this zany world of pro wrestling?
Yeah, so when I was about 6 years old, my older brother introduced me and my siblings to wrestling. We didn't have like cable growing up, and he had a collection of WWE DVDs, WWF, and we had the video games. So we just watched those nonstop, played GM mode together, and yeah, I was hooked ever since.
So what were some of the matches you were scheduling as a GM mode? What was your main event? What was the main event for your biggest pay-per-view of the year?
I was a big Undertaker and Edge fan. I love throwing Mick Foley in for some hardcore stuff.
Now, how would you describe your style for people that are, watching video for you the first time? How would you describe your style of wrestling?
I think my style is very chaotic. I try to throw in a little bit of lucha in there. Um, I do a lot of escape and evading. I'm a smaller person, so I try to use my speed, and that's what I enjoy most about wrestling is trying to outwork people and get in their head, be a little antagonistic sometimes because that kind of lights me up.
Hmm.
So that's pretty much how I go about wrestling.
Now, you train with the Nightmare Factory, which is a huge deal because, QT Marshall, we've had a couple of other talents on that have gone through that school. And it also, being associated with Cody Rhodes. What's it like to be under that umbrella to say, like, hey, I went to that school and seeing all the stuff that Cody's able to accomplish now?
It's so inspiring, and I could never express how grateful I am with words because all the opportunities that I've been able to have in wrestling all stems from that beginning training with them, and it just kind of it was rolling right after I graduated. We literally did 3 months of training, and then we were kind of thrown into the deep end, and he still checks in on me, messages me, he hypes me up when I have big matches. So having him as a trainer, mentor, inspiration has been maybe the coolest thing I've gotten on this journey.
And that's cool because it is like a nightmare family. Like he does check in on his kids and make sure that they're doing well and they're training and they're progressing. When you got the injuries, because you had, what was it, an ACL injury that you had?
ACL and meniscus in both knees. Yeah.
So kind of take everybody through, I guess, like the mental struggles of having to go through that because obviously you're living this dream. You're training under the likes of QT Marshall and Cody Rhodes. You're on AEW at the time, and then the injury happens. What is some of the setbacks that kind of put you through that emotional roller coaster?
Yeah, so it was nuts for me because like I said, it was those 3 months of training and then we had a little winter break. I come back and Cody is like, "Hey, we're gonna bring you to TV next week. You'll be wrestling on Dark." And I was like, "Excuse me?" Like already? Like I haven't had any matches on the indies at all, and we're like going straight to that. So I was really nervous, but then like I had that match and then I wrestled Layla like a few weeks later, and that's when my knee blew out. And just having everything move so quickly and then come to a complete stop was super challenging mentally. And a lot of people have been like, what if like you didn't have the knee injuries, like do you, like what if you were signed or whatever. And honestly, I'm a big believer of everything happens for a reason. And
Definitely.
if I were to have been signed, I would have never gone to Japan for 3 months and had that journey. I would have never had my GCW run all across the country and wrestle people like Miyu and Megan and stuff like that. So I definitely think everyone has their own journey. So I wouldn't change a thing, but having to go through that surgery and rebuild, and then I'm a very stubborn person and I didn't listen. I felt good at 6 months, so I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna get right back to this." A month into coming back from that knee surgery, I was overcompensating with my right knee and blew that out.
Oh,
And that that one really was tough because there was a lot of people with their opinions online that I kept seeing that like I'm not built for wrestling. I should just like give it up and all of that stuff. So it definitely got to my head and just wondering like those things start to settle in and you start to doubt yourself as well. But I have a really good support system and maybe the coolest group of fans in the world that stuck by me through two knee surgeries. That's like 2 years of not
yeah.
wrestling, and they were nonstop cheering me on. And so having that definitely made it easier. And uh, getting to come back, it lit a huge fire under me. I was like 105 pounds at the time of the knee surgeries, and because of like all these things I was hearing online, I bulked up and I got up to like 125 pounds and a lot more muscle I put on. So it definitely was motivating. And yeah, since I've been back, my knees have been great and I haven't had to worry about them at all.
And that's the great thing about it. So, first things first, anybody's listening, social media can be toxic at times. So, with that being said, there's a lot of people out there that will doubt you and everything. But having gone through that, it has to be a humbling experience, but also having such a support group of fans that are like, hey, you can do this, you're going to be better. And I'm with you there when I say firm believer things happen for reasons. Like it wasn't the time. Like I could go deep into it, how everything's supposed to line up, but it's so awesome to see that the fans rallied behind you. And a lot of the fans were sending in questions. And I'm sure you've probably seen some of them on line when they were sending, but I just wanted to ask a couple of them here before we get into the details of what you got coming up for WrestleMania week. And one of them wanted to know that if you were stranded on a deserted island and you could have only three albums to listen to, what would you pick?
Oh my gosh, this is a good question. I think I'm very confident in my decisions though. I would say growing up, like the first CD that I purchased as a kid was the Linkin Park Minutes to Midnight album.
Hmm.
And I had that on like a little CD player and I'd play it nonstop. So that definitely have to go in there. The Avenged Sevenfold White Album. has to go in there. Such a banger, one of my favorite bands of all time. And then I'd have to say the Used in Love and Death. Those are
Very.
my three I'm going with.
And it's when they sent that question, I was like, CDs only, no streaming services, no like premium Spotify. Like, if we're gonna have three albums,
Yeah.
it's got to be CDs. And then it kind of leads into the next question from the Simply Reliable Studios. Sent in a question. They want to know, what is the pregame track to get your head into the game? Like, what gets you amped up before a match? Like, get you psyched up, get you in the zone, kind of locked in.
I always have to throw on Taste of Ink by the Used if I'm ever super nervous about a match or I'm like doubting myself. I pop on my headphones, play that full blast, and I'm just like ready to go after that.
Very awesome. Very awesome. Definitely can get in on that. So again, we talking about WrestleMania week, and there's a lot of things going on in Vegas. The second year that's back in Vegas, and you're a busy gal that week. Let everybody know what you got going on, because I'm constantly looking through your socials, and it's another graphic, another signing, another appearance, another match. For people that are going to be making the trip there, or people that are already in Vegas and they want to come out and support you, where can they find you at that week?
Yes, that week is gonna be insane. I feel like I should start calling it the Low Life Fest because we're going insane that weekend. I'm already stressed out about it, but I'm excited as well. Thursday, you can catch me at WrestleCon 4 to 8. I'll be signing there. And then right after, I will be heading over to Fund Me Mania to wrestle Matt Mako. And then um, I'm also going to be a part of the Lodestone stuff that day. Friday morning, I'll be wrestling at Oasis Pro, wrestling Aaliyah Mia Sweets. Um, After that, I will be at Big Time Wrestling in an insane four-way for the women's championship title against Vert Vixen, Amira, and Izzy Mania. And then after that, I will be heading to Pride Style to wrestle. Charlie Evans just got announced today, a dream match for me, so I'm super stoked for that. Saturday, I will be at Effie's Big Gay Brunch. My match has not been announced yet, but I already know it's going to be a banger. And
Hmm.
then Sunday, you can catch me back at WrestleCon. I will be signing there in the morning.
Now, how does someone go from like one wrestling event to another one? Like having multiple matches in a day, like how do you keep up? Like, I mean, just the stamina to be able to do that.
I uh I try to keep my gym routines very consistent, especially leading up to Mania, making sure I get my cardio in. I train at the foundation, and we do cardio like crazy. So I feel like that has definitely prepared me for this. And it's definitely very stressful, also having to do gear changes in between shows. So
I
you're not
always
just in the
wondered that. Do
same.
you change gears, or do you just kind of like, hey, just throw some sweats over it, like the warm up suits of like a basketball game? Like, I'm just going right to the next event.
Yeah, if it's very, very close, I will do that. I'll put some sweats over and then head on over. But if I have some time, I will make sure to change my gear. I just don't like wrestling in sweaty gear. So I
Yeah.
always try to do my best to do little gear changes between shows.
Now, at being at WrestleCon, fans can come up to meet you and get photos, I guess, with you and autographs. What is some of the like the feedback you get from fans? Like, obviously, there's fans that like idolize you. Like, how does that feel knowing that you have fans that look up to you and are like inspired by you?
I think it's probably one of the coolest things of wrestling is having those fans come up. I've had like young girls come up like in tears, just very excited, saying that they've been waiting to meet me and stuff. And that literally like it makes my heart so full and it amazes me every time that the connection because it's easy to see a number online and you can't really like visualize that and then you actually meet these people and hear their stories and how much my wrestling has impacted them and just like the emo stuff and who I am and the journeys that I've been on through the injuries and everything and how it's impacted them. So it really like hits home for me, and I always try to spend as much time as I can with people because I literally would not be here without the people supporting me. So I try to do my best to uh, give them all my time and attention and come out with cool new merch and do giveaways and stuff like that as well.
And I think that's one of the coolest things is that being able to connect with a talent in having like common themes and things that you enjoy together, like you said, the emo thing, the music thing, just being able to say like, oh wow, like there's you could be inspiring the next superstar out there that's like, wow, I didn't realize I could do this. And then they see someone who is just like them, has the same interests as them. And that's got to be a really cool feeling inside. So kudos to you for that, for taking the time and not having an ego. Um, but one of the other things I heard recently, where you were training in the dungeon, is this true?
Yeah, I've the past few weeks I've gone in and out of the dungeon, and that is also one of the coolest things to be a part of, and I'm so grateful for this being a part of my journey and be able to go there uh like week after week and stuff like that. TJ and Natty, they are the best. Natalia, you could just feel how much she cares about everyone in the room and everyone getting better and just like mastering their craft. So it's a really cool group of people to be around and very inspiring because sometimes you don't always get the people that are like excited to be training because we do this like 3 to 4 matches every weekend and then 3 to 4 days of training. So it does get exhausting sometimes, but every time I step through the doors of the dungeon, everyone's excited, motivated, and just the energy is so high there that you can't help but be happy and excited to be a part of it.
And Natty is so cool. And a quick story: the first time I ever went to a WrestleMania, I think it was WrestleMania. It was 27, so it was quite a while ago. And I got to meet Natty at like a meet and greet at like WrestleMania Access or something. And she was so chill. And it was like you when you go to meet people, you sometimes you feel like you're like, what do I say? Because I know I only get like 30 seconds. I gotta hurry up and make this quick. I gotta make it memorable and everything. And she just like stopped and froze the line. She was like, hey, like, what do you love about wrestling? And it threw me off because I was so
Oh,
like
shit.
not prepared to answer it. Like, I mean, if I had the time to think about it, I'm like, I was just like thinking in my head, what am I going to say to her? You know, it's so nice to meet you, but it just goes to show how cool she is and how she's in tune to the fans and the business and has that passion. So definitely being able to hang out at the dungeon is definitely a mark out moment, I would say.
Yeah, she is so, so cool. And it's she's one of the people like Cody, like they're so busy, they have so much going on. You would never expect them to like give so much of their time to people, but they do. And it's just it's so cool to see. And I hope to be like half as good as a person of either one of them, you know. They're just so cool and so giving with their time.
Now, because you're on the indie scene and you're doing so many different shows, like what goals do you have? Like obviously you've tasted AEW. You've tasted the, you know, like the elites of the elites. Like, do you have goals of like, hey, I'm trying to get into WWE or, you know, I want to do, you know, more stuff in Japan. Like, is there a goal that you have, or do you just kind of just ride the wave in the moment wherever it takes you?
I'm a very go with the flow type of person, and I believe there's like a plan in the universe of what is going to come of my career. Of course, I would love to be signed one day, but I just have so much fun with every aspect of wrestling, getting to travel, getting to design new gear, getting to draw up new logos, work on my merch and meet fans, wrestle, feel the energy. So any day, any weekend that I get to wrestle or train is just it's a great day for me. So I'm just
Mhm.
happy to be here and wherever it takes me. Hopefully, it's a contract down the line, but I'll be happy regardless.
Now, I always say to everybody, everybody's not a finished product. Every day that we're here on this planet, we're growing, evolving, becoming a better self than we were the day before. What is something that Brooke wants to work on, that wants to get better at, whether it be, you know, in ring doing something, or if it's promos, like what is something that you're like, hey, this is kind of a focus I want to work on?
I think definitely promos. And I just want to show more of who I am as a person in my promos, and so people can connect with that more. I feel like a lot of people feel like they have to be super serious about promos, and that's how I was, so I never really liked cutting them. But I've been trying to work on more just being myself and letting the audience see that side of me. So I definitely want to continue working on that.
Now you mentioned your dream match, but what is like other dream matches? Like what is something if you were to book her, you had to book this like dream match opponent, could be somebody that's not even in ring active right now. Who would you want to work with?
Definitely very top dream match. Don't know if it would ever be possible, would be either Rhea Ripley or Bailey. Um, but also, I would love to wrestle Megan Bayne again. We wrestled on the Indies, and now, of course, she's in AEW, absolutely killing it. Lena Cross is another one that I was like, oh shoot, I hope I catch her before she swept off the Indies, but she got swept up quick.
Hey, you might have to
Um,
drop that pipe bomb on the indie show or something. Just start calling people out.
yeah, yeah. There are so many people, so many incredible women's wrestlers that I would love to step in the ring with. Danny Luna as well.
Now, fans wanted to know too when you're not doing all the wrestling stuff, which is probably not a lot of time to have free time, but like free time, what do you like to do that's not related to your wrestling? Because you mentioned you talking about creating logos and merch and everything. What's something else that you just like to do when you're not in the wrestling mood?
I do work out a lot. That's kind of connected to wrestling, though. Um, but outside of that, I like going to concerts. I definitely don't have as much time as I used to. I used to love going to festivals like Shock and like Warped Tour and stuff. I will be seeing Hayley Williams in concert soon, so I'm so stoked for that. But yeah, I did an emo night. I did a guest DJ set, so anything involving
Oh, nice.
um, music and concerts and stuff like that, that's always fun for me.
Now you have very supportive fan base, but what about friends and family? Because you're constantly on the go. How often do you get to see friends, family? Like, do you ever get like lonely or homesick that you don't get to see them as much, or is you just so much on the go that you don't really even get a chance to think about it?
I think I try to also keep myself as busy as I can, so I kind of like don't have time to think about it, but I
Mhm.
definitely am very, very close to my family, and it is tough being like so far away from them and traveling all the time and missing holidays and stuff. But they are so supportive, and I'm super grateful to have them and my friends and stuff. But yeah, it's so tough.
Another fan tweeted in a question. He wanted to know, do you remember your first ever wrestling experience, whether it be going to a match or a meet and greet?
Yes. So growing up, I had a very big family. So they couldn't really afford to take us all to wrestling shows or whatever. But my older brother, he got a job when he was 18. And like with his first paycheck, he bought tickets for him and I to go see Raw at the Save Mart Center in Fresno. And that was my first time seeing a live event. And it was just the coolest thing for me. I got the DX glow sticks, a Rated R Superstar sweatband. It was just an insane experience for me.
Now, you mentioned a lot of the female wrestlers that you wanted to work with. Another fan wanted to know, would you be open to doing like intergender matches? Like it seems to be something that seems to be, big. Like GCW's done some of them. Some of the other shows have done them. I'm sure Effie's going to have something at his show. Um, are you open to doing things like that?
Yeah, on the indies and being a part of like Hood Slam and GCW, I've definitely had a lot of intergender matches. some of my favorites. I've wrestled Man Like Doris. That was a really fun match. I wrestled Joey Janela. He beat me up, but it was a fun
We'll get
challenge,
him
you
back. We'll
know.
get him back. We gotta get a lick back on Joey.
Yeah, exactly. Brody Lee's gonna get that for me, you know. Spring
Definitely.
break. But yeah, I love intergender matches.
Is there anything this upcoming WrestleMania that you're excited to see? Like, I mean, obviously you're doing your own thing, doing different matches, but is there something you're excited to see, like in between matches, whether it be on the main card of WrestleMania or another indie show that you're like, hey, like I'm taking a peek through the curtain watching this?
I believe I will be wrestling at the time of spring break, but the card on that is literally insane. Like every time I see a new announcement for a match on there, I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I could just be watching this, but I'm also super excited to be wrestling and grateful to be wrestling at that time. But the card is absolutely insane. I think it might be uh taking over WrestleMania weekend in terms of all the independent shows.
That's the thing. You can't go to everything. I've believe me, I've tried. It's impossible. You just get worn
Yes.
out so quickly. Last year I like couldn't get an Uber out of like SmackDown, trying to make it back to my hotel, walking on the Vegas Strip 11 miles back to my hotel. I'm
Oh
just like the
no.
stuff I do for pro wrestling. So we got to make sure you get a link to like the replay or something to that so you can watch that. So no spoilers for you.
Yes, I'll be in the back on my phone just watching it before my match.
Now, I mentioned about the different female wrestlers. What guy wrestlers though, like were you big fans of? You mentioned the Undertaker and Edge doing like the GM mode, but like who are some of the other wrestlers that you were like real big of?
I was also a big fan of like Rey Mysterio and the Hardys. All of the smaller people that were like super fast, super quick, doing all these cool things, high flyers. I was like, wow, they're like cool as hell. I want to be like them. And then of course like the Hardys, they had the cool look and the painted nails, the cool hair, all of that stuff. So that was definitely inspiring to me, being a
Uh,
little emo kid.
now, and it's cool you say that because someone sent in, they wanted to know if you could pick any artist to create a song like an entrance theme for you, who would it be?
Well, actually, Downstate is working on a song for me, a custom entrance song.
Oh, a
So
little T, a little T. I love it.
yes, I'm so stoked for that to come out. We've worked a lot together on what I wanted to sound like and inspiration and little stuff like that. Um, Incorporating sounds of bands that I loved growing up, and they're the best. I love Downstate, and obviously they created one of the best bangers of all time in Cody's theme song. So I feel like I have a great group of people to be working with.
You got to have it say like there's more than one entrance theme. You know, like the little saying.
Yes.
You know, that would be a cool touch. Like there's more than one entrance theme, and then like they come on and your song comes on. You know, then we could
Yeah.
do the whole. Do the whole Brooke Havok. Do the whole woe thing for you.
Yes.
So, a lot of people want to know where they can follow you at all the official links of social medias because we live in an AI world now where everybody thinks they're talking to somebody and they're really could be talking to somebody else. Where can people find you at and support you online?
You could find me at Brooke Havok with a K on all social media. And then I also have a merch site, brookehavoc.bigcartel.com. I have new shirts coming to Vegas, new merch items, keychains, pins, stickers, all that good stuff. They'll be on my merch site and also at WrestleMania weekend.
Very awesome. And one last question we have from the fans here wants to know what is something that you would love to change about the wrestling business, whether it be good, bad, indifferent? What's something that you want to be able to leave your stamp on?
I think I tried doing this with my little 10-week wrestling journey that I did, training at the different schools, but just keeping the awareness up on mental health and suicide awareness and stuff like that. I think it affects a lot of people in this business, and we've lost a lot of good people to it. So I think if we're able to as a community bring more awareness to that, it would make me really happy.
Well, we appreciate you taking some time out of your hectic, crazy schedule. Everybody go see her out in Vegas during WrestleMania week. Go out there and support her. Go out to the matches, buy her merch, get photos, talk music, talk video games, talk everything you want. We appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, and we wish you all the most success in the world.
Thank y'all so much. I appreciate it.
All right, take care.
Hey, what's up, you guys? It is the emo queen, Brooke Havok, and you're listening to Mix Master B on MMB Radio.